Good morning, Keller Williams, and welcome back to the KW Command 66-Day Challenge 9.0, and today is day 45. Today we've been training on a new applet, and that is our Reports applet. So today we're going to give you a run through of the applet, the main home screen, the different tabs that you have available, and then we'll jump into the Reports tab. So let's get into the Reports applet. It's our little bar and line graph icon here. It is our 8th icon down. So we're going to click on Reports, and that's going to bring us into the Reports dashboard. So the first thing we see at the top of the screen, there are 6 different tabs. Now, if you don't have a team account, you most likely don't have the lead routing tab, which would mean you'd only have 5 total tabs. But if you have a team account, you'll probably see lead routing here as well. At the top of the screen, you can see that it starts off with a database overview. How many total records do you have in your database? And of those, how many are contacts versus how many are leads? Next up, you can see your database health score. Now, that database health score is based upon the scoring system for each one of your contacts. And that goes through the big 4, so your name, phone number, email, and address. And then you have 5 additional items. We ran through that, I'm pretty sure, at the very beginning of contacts. But if I remember that correctly, let's see, that's tags, birthdays, social post, social link, employment, and birthday. I'm pretty sure that those are the last 5. So depending on how many of those pieces of information you have per contact will generate your overall database health score. So you can see the 11 contacts that I have, all 11 have a phone number and email. I'm missing an address or 2. I'm missing a few neighborhoods. I have 0 home anniversaries, and I'm missing a few birthdays. I can also choose to compare my database health score, you can see here. And you can choose to compare that to agents in my office or market center, agents in my state, all agents, or agents in a production bracket above mine. So it kind of breaks down your GCI and compares it that way. So if you're the competitive type, comparisons might be helpful. In addition, on the right-hand side, you can see when this information was last updated. So it was updated this morning about 3.5 hours ago, so at 3:30 a.m. Central Time. I can also see what sources I'm utilizing. Now, you can see I don't have a ton of lead sources entered in, so only one of those contacts. You can also see anytime you've got this arrow, it's going to be a drop down that will tell you, right? And we haven't put any contacts in recently, so we'd have to go all the way out to this year to see a lead source there for you. Scrolling down, then we finally have our database activity score. So how long has it essentially been since you've reached out to these contacts? It's been at least 30 days for 54% of my contacts, or I have contacted them within the last 30 days. 18% of my database I've contacted between 31 and 60 days. 9.1% between 61 and 90 days, and 18% of my database I have not reached out to in 90 days or less. So it's been a hot second on some of those. You can also compare in this area as well, right? So you can see the percentages of agents in the office, in the state, all agents, and agents in the production bracket above mine. You can also filter here by what sort of contact method. So are you contacting them via SMS, email, something on your calendar, a call, a note, or a meeting? Each one of these is going to trigger a database activity score. So you can filter by each one of those if you choose to as well. Next up along the top, again, the different tabs. Let's dive into the Reports tab, and I can walk you through that. So on the Reports tab, you're going to see, typically by default, it's the Opportunities report, and it is telling us that, hey, this information comes from the Opportunities applet and may not update instantly. So if you're making changes or building out a new opportunity or making changes in an opportunity, just give it some time to update. That can be as much as 24 hours as a heads up. So this information, again, getting pulled in from the Opportunities applet. There are, again, whenever we see this drop down, or this arrow, that should alert you that this is a drop down. There's 3 different types of reports that we can look at. So we're going to look at the Opportunities report, but then we're going to come back and look at the Goals report and the Database report. So the Opportunity report, this is really just your pipeline view in a different view. So when we looked at the 3 different pipelines, you saw how many opportunities you had and what the potential and probable income were. This is just very similar, right? So a different breakdown and a different style of view. You do have another drop down here in the top right, so you could look at month to date. We haven't created any opportunities in May. Last month, we created one in April. Year to date, just that one. So that's our listing pipeline. Next up, you can see the buyer pipeline. So we don't have any buyer opportunities created year to date. It does not show lease or landlord-based opportunities, just your buyer and listing opportunities in this report. Next up, we're going to go into the goals report. So this will make more sense tomorrow when we actually set our goals, but right now it's just a bunch of zeros. But it would track based upon the opportunities and the key dates. Remember that video that we talked about, putting in your key dates. If you don't have key dates with regards to when you set the appointment, when you kept the appointment, when you signed the agreement, all of those items, all of this is going to come back blank, right? So it's coming back blank right now because we haven't set any dates and we also haven't set any goals yet. So we'll do that tomorrow. But next up on the report drop down, you also have the database report. This is just sort of another view of that first page dashboard. Shows you all of your contacts and your contact health scores, but then it breaks down the activities. So not just how many activities you've done, but how many smart plan emails or texts have been sent, how many one-off emails and text, how many notes, how many people search neighborhoods, how many meetings you set, calls, calendar events, everything you're tracking inside of your database, you can find the answers here. Total number of sources, and again, you've got drop downs, so you can look at yesterday, this week, this month, last month, or year to date. You can check out your leads by sources or by cities, all right, so you can see those. And then you've got all of the different options. So if we do year to date, there we can see our Actor Guilds after party. We put 3 people in from there. And then if we look up cities, right, we do have some cities represented with regards to our contacts and leads. Finally, you've got your tracking on your lead database fields. So how many of them have these key pieces of information? And you can see you can toggle between your leads and your contacts. So inside of our contacts, we're doing okay. We need a little bit of help with anniversary or addresses and birthdays. We haven't closed any transactions yet, so we don't have any home anniversaries for any of our contacts or leads. Once we start closing transactions, then we definitely want to enter the home anniversary date, and that'll help trigger that percentage as well. All of this information is exportable, as you can see. So if you click on the export button, it's going to say, hey, here's what that report is going to look like. Do you want it in PDF format or CSV format? So this is sort of your Excel style file. And that's the truth for a database report. You can export your goals report. So what does that one look like, right? And then we can also export the opportunities report. So if you go in, you can see that's also an exportable report. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to dive into goals. We're probably going to We're going to skip lead routing because that's more of just a team functionality, but we'll get into emails, texts, and calls as well. So stay tuned for that, the second half of the Reports Applet. As always, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll look forward to talking to you again real soon.